Today on Ballistic Burgers, we're going to see if the viral sensation, the crack burger, is actually worth all the hype. Let's get going. So this crack burger went viral about 7 months ago or so. And since then, I've received a few requests to basically cook this burger. And I looked into it, and basically I'm not a big fan of mixing things into the ground beef. I think that should be kept more for meatloafs. I think the ground beef should be treated like a steak on a hamburger, you know, seasoned and treated like a steak. I don't know why, but last night I thought, you know what, let's do this burger. And I want to see if it's actually worth the hype. I'm going to be breaking a lot of my own rules here, so let's get going. So I have here 1 pound of ground chuck. This is 80-20, so it's 20% fat. And I like, if I'm not going to grind the beef myself, I want to make sure that it's packaged to where you can see how it was extruded from the grinder, like the little threads. I really try to avoid buying ground beef that are like packed into what they call a chub, which is, you know, those tubes of hamburger. I really try to emphasize not overworking the beef. So this is the way I like to buy it. And we're going to be overworking this beef, I'll tell you that right now. But what I'm going to start out with is just sort of separating the strands so I can get that initial blast of seasoning as evenly distributed throughout this meat before I actually start mixing it up with wet ingredients and everything else. Now we're going to add the key ingredient, and that's right here. It's the Hidden Valley Ranch. This is their dressing and dip seasoning. And I'm going to add this to the beef. I'm not measuring this. I just want to make sure that I'm coating it well. And as I'm kind of sprinkling it out, I'll mix it up a little bit. So again, I'm just eyeballing this. And a lot of the videos I watched, this is what they were doing. They weren't really measuring this out. It's just more or less eyeballing it. There we go. I'm guessing there's probably a couple tablespoons here. All right. So it's looking like right now. Now we're adding some sour cream. Probably a good 2 tablespoons of sour cream. This is some freshly grated cheddar cheese, and this is a medium cheddar cheese. And if you're going to use shredded cheese, I really, really recommend shredding it yourself because there's a huge difference with the way it melts. There's a reason why cheese in those bags, that it's not all stuck together. It's because they're actually adding, you know, anti-sticking together stuff. It's derived from wood pulp, I think. I have here some crumbled crisp bacon. I cooked this up this morning. This was 3 strips that I fried till it was nice and crisp, then, you know, chopped it up into little bits. So that's, again, 3 slices of bacon. This is something that no one else I saw in videos added, but some chive. This is some freshly chopped chive, probably a couple teaspoons. Now, in every video I watched of someone making this burger, after adding all the stuff, including the Hidden Valley Ranch, they added like salt and pepper, or you know, like something that contained more salt. I looked at the ingredients in this. The third ingredient on this list, it's like dextrose is first, and then the powdered buttermilk. Then salt is the third ingredient, and then after salt is MSG, monosodium glutamate. So there's a ton of salt in here, a ton of salt. I mean, they're saying 1 serving is a 1/4 teaspoon, so 1/4 of a teaspoon, and that 1/4 of a teaspoon has 60 milligrams of salt. You know, you do you, but I don't think it needs any more salt. But I am going to add some freshly ground black pepper. And again, I've just added a bunch of cheese, a bunch of bacon, the sour cream. There's a lot of salt in this burger. I don't think it needs any more salt. So now we're going to do something that's making me cringe inside. I'm going to mix this up. Just knead it like I'm making a meatloaf. And, you know, the balance is trying to get it all mixed in thoroughly without completely overworking the meat, but we're completely overworking this meat. That's the reality of this. And there we are. Looks yummy. So now let's make our patties. So I have my parchment down and one of my rings. And I used to use, way back in the day, these, pastry rings that you buy on Amazon, or you can get them at like craft stores that sell cake supplies. Those things, they work, but they're very, very flimsy. And I found these on Amazon. I'll have a link down below. I've been using these for a while now, but these are legit. They're super, super solid stainless steel. It's actually legit, like 304 stainless. You can wash these. They're not going to rust like the other ones do. These you'll have for a lifetime. So they're a little bit more expensive than the flimsy guys, but like, again, you'll have these forever unless you lose it or run it over with a car or something. So I'm not going to weigh the meat. With these rings, I have two different sizes that I have, and I'll put the measurements up here. But what I do is I gauge it to the size of the bun I'm using. I just want the ring to be a little bit larger than the bun to compensate for any, shrinkage of the patty. So just pack it in there. And I'm guessing this is going to be around 1/3 of a pound. There we go. This is the stickiest hamburger I've ever formed. I'll tell you that right now. So get this off to the side and I'll make the other one. It smells, I love, that Hidden Valley, the ranch dip. We eat that a lot. Well, not a lot, but we do love that dip. And I'm smelling this is what it smells like right now. It smells good. It's going to be an interesting cook for me. Gooey, gooey, gooey. All right. So the next thing we're going to do just really quickly is make up a sauce. We'll call it crack sauce. That sounds gross. Oh, Greggy. All right, so in the bowl, we're just going to add, that didn't sound nice, some mayo. Come on, stop it, mayo. And, okay, whatever, I'm just going to go with it. This is people who want to know, this is Best Foods, and if you're east of the Rockies, this will be Hellman's. I know a lot of people love Duke's. We don't have it out here, so I'm going with what we have. And this is a chili sauce, and it's a Moroccan, spicy Moroccan chili sauce. I thought that sounded good. Honestly, just use whatever kind of burger sauce you want, or if you want to make something like this, ketchup, do whatever you want. I think anything will go good with this. Get some of that in there. And then because I'm going to add a little bit of this. By this, that, if you missed it, that was the ranch seasoning there. A nice color, kind of a Thousand Island color. This is good. I like it. I'm going to add a little bit of fresh ground black pepper. Yeah, this is really good. That's a keeper. All right, meet you at the griddle. We're using a wildfire griddle today. I have this right burner here, medium high, and the left one on low. We're going to kick this cook off with some bacon. This is bacon that I actually boiled for about an hour and a half. Cut it into some smaller pieces, boiled it for about an hour and a half, and it completely changes the texture of the bacon. It softens the meat. And if it makes any sense, it actually makes the fat kind of fluffier when it's done, kind of more of a, like a crackling or a chicharron kind of a texture. Put a weight on it. And all credit for this goes to Boss Man Mike, RIP. He owned Hodad's in San Diego, California, Ocean Beach area. And I've done a couple copycats of their burgers, but they actually boil their bacon before they cook it up. And it's a life changer if you like bacon cheeseburgers. See how this looks. This is going to take me a couple flips before I get it the way I really want it. And normally what I'm using is I use the trimmings. You can buy trimmings at our grocery store of bacon trimmings. So what I'm looking for is it being more of a kind of a bacon patty. It'll get there. So right here, I'm just going to add a little avocado oil, put down some onions. There we go. That's what I'm looking for right there. Probably just flipped it a little too early that first time. Looks good. I'm going to move these over to the cooler side here. They're going to continue cooking. They'll get right where I want them to be by the time we're ready to build this burger. These onions here. And I'm just going for, like fried onions. We're not going for full-blown caramelized onions here. The onions over there. Now those patties. I like to get a nice, like complete contact with the griddle here. So I just like to give it a little bit of a press. Very interesting. I'm going to go ahead and give this a flip. Yeah, it feels weird. It's not like bonding like you'd normally feel a regular hamburger. Yeah, a little bit. And I noticed the other YouTubers, they gave these a couple flips, and so that's probably what I'm going to do here. So you can see the little breakage right there. These burgers, with all that stuff mixed in, it just doesn't have that nice texture that untainted ground beef has. In other words, again, I'm sticking with my guns as far as I don't like mixing things in with this ground beef. I just don't. It just feels very, very mushy. So now the buns, going with these everything buns. The thing that's, about these buns come from the store. A lot of times, they're pre-cut so early, they have a little bit of a concave here. So it's difficult to get them to toast really good. You definitely need to press that top bun in to kind of get it to make contact with the griddle. It's pretty good. So I just lowered the temperature down to like a medium temp on these burgers. They're going to take a little bit more nurturing as far as, getting them cooked through without causing problems because of all that stuff that's mixed in. Put it on a little bit more heat here. Some cheddar cheese, really thinly sliced cheddar cheese. All right, let's make a burger. So to the bottom buns, I'm going to add some shredded iceberg lettuce, burger is going to be pretty darn juicy. And I like this type of lettuce. I think it adds a nice kind of a texture, but also it'll help soak up some of those juices. Then just some really nicely thinly sliced Roma tomatoes. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of burger patty, go with some onion, add some pickles. I think this is going to need some acid. And that bacon. And yeah, maybe I should have put this on top of the cheese. Doesn't matter. It's going to be good. It looks really good. Put that cracked sauce down. This looks really cool. As it spreads, you can see the little pieces of, the pepper in there, the peppers from that chili. Looks really good. Nice. And here we are. The crack burger. It looks really, really good. I mean, it almost has that cartoonish look. And again, that bacon technique, it makes a huge difference in these bacon cheeseburgers. Give it a try. All right, here we go. The crack burger. The crack burger that ironically apparently needed more acid. Huh. Let me try just a piece of this patty. You can see the cheese and stuff inside there. I mean, it's good. So break this down. That bacon is a star. That, again, thank you, Hodats, for that technique. Everything else is good. I mean, is this burger the best thing I've ever eaten? No, not at all. Is it addictive? No. I mean, it's good. Definitely needed the acid from those pickles. Very rich. It does taste very salty to me. I mean, of course, again, there's the bacon and everything in there, but sauce is really, really good. I think, I saw one video where the seasoning was used as a seasoning on top of burger patties. I think that's the way it should be done. I wish I would have, I want to try that technique too. It's good. Is it great? No, I don't think it's great. Is it addictive? No, I don't think it's addictive. It's, I think, a little bit more gimmick than anything. It's a lot of work to make a hamburger. You're mixing all that stuff in there. It's, again, it's more like making meatloaf. The texture of the patty's way different than a normal patty. It's definitely kind of softer. It doesn't have that meaty kind of bite. And cooking it, again, it's the same thing. You have to be very aware of this kind of a soft texture of that patty when you're flipping and everything, because it's just, the hotter it gets on the griddle, the more it's wanting to fall apart. And I just don't think it's worth all that hassle making this. I think it would be better to, like the other video I saw, gosh, I'm sorry, I watched all these videos. I'll give credit to this guy, check his video out. Actually, it's the one that did best of all the videos I watched too, so definitely check it out. But what he did was he used, this is like a seasoning rub, you know, like just a seasoning, sprinkling it on the ground beef patties. And then he mixed up the cheese and bacon and sour cream and everything with the shredded cheese, and he used that as a topping on the griddle, so it melted on the griddle on the patties. And I think that's the way, if I'm going to call a burger a crack burger that's addictive, it would be leaning more towards that one than mixing a bunch of crap inside the ground beef. I'm adamantly against that. But I'm glad I tried it, and like I said, it is good. It's just, in my opinion, not worth all that extra effort to make. I'd rather just make a traditional burger and dress it up really nice. But yeah, I'm glad I tried it out. Everybody that suggested it, again, it was a few months ago. Sorry it took so long. I was really resisting doing this just because of my personal feelings about mixing stuff into the meat. But I'm glad I did it. It was good. It was fun. Anyway, if you're not subscribed, please consider hitting that sub button. Make sure you ring the notification bell. Thumb it up if you like it. I hope you did. And I'll see you on the next video. Keep those suggestions coming in. Cheers.